Hi guys, welcome to my June wrap-up video. The month of June was kind of crazy for me. I was on vacation and I had some family come into town, so I spent some time with them. So I feel like I read a little less than I do in a typical month, but I did read 10 books in the month of June, and I'm excited to talk about them today. I had a bunch of 3-star reads, a few 4-star reads, and one 5-star read. That was amazing. So let's get into these. I'll start with my 3-star reads. I like to go from kind of lowest rated to highest rated. So first we have Leather and Lark. It's by Bren Weaver. This is the sequel to Butcher and Blackbird, which was a book that I really loved that I read earlier this year. I gave that book 5 stars. It was such a pleasant surprise and such a fun, interesting, dark comedy about serial killers falling in love with each other. This second one wasn't as good in my opinion. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was a fun read, but I definitely didn't like it as much as the first one. I liked the forced proximity and just like the fake marriage relationship in this book. I think a lot of things just felt a little too easy, or like stuff just happened to move the plot along that just didn't really seem like genuine, and it was like a little confusing sometimes. Honestly, it was like really predictable, where I didn't think the first one was as predictable as this one. But overall, I still enjoyed the writing. It just wasn't the sensation that I thought the first one was. I would read the next one. I know there's another one coming out because this is like a trilogy. Let me know in the comments if you felt the same way. I haven't heard too much about this book, so I'm wondering if everyone else is feeling the same or if they liked it just as much as Butcher and Blackbird. Okay, so next up I have another 3-star read. I read The King of Greed by Ana Huang. This is the 3rd book in her like Kings of Sin series. I know there's another one that just came out, and then I don't know when the next one after that comes out. I would just start off saying like I love Ana Huang's writing a lot. I've really enjoyed parts of this series. I just love the Twisted series so much. I love those books a lot. This one in particular, though, just kind of wasn't my favorite, which is sad to say. And I think it's just because the majority of this book is about a couple that's breaking up, and while they do eventually get back together, I know that's the whole point of the book, is they go through this breakup and then they get back together. It just kind of left me really sad reading it, and I didn't really like being that sad in Ana Huang books. They're usually like more fun and exciting. And yeah, it was just a little maybe too depressing for me. I did really like Dom's brother Roman. He will be an interesting character. I hope he is going to be in one of the books that's coming out. I don't really know who the leads of all of them are. So he would be a good one, and I would like to follow his characters more. But other than that, I usually just enjoy her books a little more than I did for this one. But I am really excited to read King of Sloth probably next month, so hopefully I will like that one a lot better, because I do really enjoy her writing a lot. And then another 3-star read, I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I love Ali Hazelwood's writing as well. This one probably isn't my favorite from her. I think that's still probably Bride or The Love Hypothesis. Those two are really awesome. But I did like a lot of it. I don't know if I really got into Rue's character so much, but I loved Eli. He was really great in this book. He just like knew Rue very well and just knew what she needed. And they both work for different companies, and one company's kind of trying to take over another company. So they're technically kind of forbidden to see each other. So they start up this romantic relationship kind of secretly. And they have a really great connection, and I found their scenes really sweet. Like I said, Eli was just like such a sweetheart, and he really understood Rue, and I think those scenes were like the best. Some of the other plot stuff around like the reason why they can't be together, or like the companies, buying out the other one, was a little predictable. But, so I would say if you're an Ali Hazelwood fan, you'll probably like this a lot. I can see if you like don't care about her writing, you might not think it's as sweet, but I just found it really sweet, and I really liked Eli a lot. Okay, another 3-star read, The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I read a bunch of romances this month. This was fun. It's the first book in the Dreamland Billionaires series, and I also read the second book this month too, but I'm going to talk about that one a little later because I liked that one a bit more than this one. This book was fun and it did a decent setup. I don't know if I totally cared about this couple as much as the other couple that we'll get to, but that's kind of why I gave it a 3 stars. This one was interesting because we have 3 brothers and they were each left a letter from their grandfather who died. And he basically says to get your inheritance, you each have to complete a specific task. They are a really, really rich family. The grandfather is sort of like a Walt Disney type figure. They own giant amusement parks like all over the world, and they're billionaires because of that. So he leaves them kind of non-traditional tasks that they each have to complete in order to get their inheritance. So in the first book we have Rowan is one of the siblings, and then Zahara is a bit younger than him. She works for the theme park, and part of Rowan's task is to go there and be like a creative manager there for a certain amount of time. And that's really all he has to do. And we've got basically like a grumpy sunshine trope because Zahara is just like a ball of like happiness and joy, and she sees like the upside of everything. And Rowan is so the opposite of that. I really like Lauren Asher's writing. I think there was more funny moments in this book than the other series that I read. And he's kind of lying to her at one point because she believes she's texting this other creative and it's actually him. And they get along so well via text, but they hate each other in person. And it's just really sweet because she like kind of freaks out over like the lavish lifestyle that he has that he doesn't even notice that he has because he's just like a workaholic. And then he definitely like changes his thinking and wants to end up staying with her and at the theme park at this current job because of her. So it was really a sweet story. Okay, so my first 4-star read is Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is the sequel to Dawn and Dusted, which I read a few months ago. It's a cowboy romance series. So this is another cowboy romance, which I'm surprised to find out that I really, really enjoy. I liked this one a bit better than Dawn and Dusted too. So we have a reverse Grumpy Sunshine, where the female is more of a grumpy person and the male is a sunshine. And I really liked Ada. She's kind of shy and reserved, but that comes off as kind of grumpy or standoffish. And I definitely relate to that. And they start to develop feelings for each other while they're working on this project. And some of her walls are coming down a little bit and she's making some friends and she's just debating if she wants to stay in the smaller town or go back to the big city. And I found this book to be really sweet. And I can't wait for the 3rd book to come out later this year, just because the characters that book's about, I love when they are on the page together. They're bickering. It's so funny. I think that'll be a really good book. It's definitely going to be kind of an enemies to lovers trope, and it'll be so much fun. Next, we have the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. I loved this. What a joy it's been reading all the Abby Jimenez's books the last couple months. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it just because the last one kind of ended on such a sad note. I pretty much immediately got into it. I really loved both these characters so much. Sloane is great. She's so funny. I really found her enjoyable. And Jason is a musician, and I just found the way that they met like to be so sweet. It's all about Jason's dog Tucker basically like jumps in her car one day and then she's taking care of him for several weeks because the person who was supposed to be taking care of him wasn't. He's a traveling musician and he finds out this, and then they kind of start talking about their dog. And then they start dating, and then it's just really a smart way to do a story like this. And I only have one more Abby Jimenez book to read, and it's gonna be sad because we met the next character, and we met a character in this book who's gonna be in the next one, so I'm excited for that. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. I gave this book 4 stars. I like this one a lot better than the fine print. I think it's because I just love this couple a lot. Iris and Declan, I really enjoyed their romance. I like Iris a lot. I think I see a lot of myself in Iris, especially when I was younger. She's working as an assistant to Declan. So his task to get his inheritance, we're back to this story, is not only to get married, but then do have a baby within kind of a certain amount of time. And he just has like a really difficult personality. He doesn't see himself as lovable, which is really sad. And he's just really domineering. And him and his assistant, Iris, actually do get along and work really well together. But then they get married, and it's definitely just like a fake marriage. They're not planning on doing things together. They kind of just do things for the public, just to make it seem like it's a real relationship when it's not, and then it slowly becomes a real relationship. Yeah, I just really liked the relationship. I liked Iris moving in with him and them kind of dealing with each other outside of work. And then Declan kind of getting away from having to work all the time and not putting so much on her, and not putting so much pressure on her, anymore to be this assistant, that she doesn't really want that job anymore either. She was trying to get out of the job even before they got married. So I liked this one a lot, and I'm really excited to read The Final Offer next month. That's going to be the Final Brothers story. So these are very fun books. Okay, I'm so excited about the next book. I read The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee this month, and what a joy. I had no idea. I didn't think I was going to like this book for whatever reason as much as I did. I was putting off reading it a little bit, and now I'm kind of sad because the second book doesn't come out till August. So now I kind of wished I'd read them a little closer together, but I'm so excited. I can't wait for that next book. The way this book ended was amazing. This book just made me so happy. It's an adult fantasy romance, and I just had so much fun reading it throughout. I couldn't put it down. Like I said, it had a very intense ending. I would say the entire second half of this book, I just couldn't put down. I think the only reason it's not a 5-star, even though I really, really enjoyed it, is just some stuff with the plot. It's definitely more like romantic-y. It's romance heavy, which isn't a bad thing. And just the plot, I would say, it's just more romantic-y than like a fantasy romance, I guess, in my mind, where the fantasy part is really on the back burner and the romance is at the forefront. But we basically have like a runaway princess, and her father, the king, is just like a horrible, horrible king, horrible person. And for one reason or another, she's taken in by this rebel group, and there's like an instant attraction with like their leader. And he doesn't trust her at all. He thinks she's keeping something from them. She doesn't tell anyone who she actually is. So she's kind of a runaway, and she doesn't want them to find out because obviously they are against her father, the king. And she is too. I mean, he was horrible to her and she ran away for a reason. I just cannot wait for this next book. I was so surprised that I loved this book so much. It was such a good time, so much fun. So then we have Fates and Furies by Helen Schuler. I gave this a 4-star as well. This is the third book in the Legends of Thesmar series. I don't want this series to end. I've been having such a good time with it. I really love Thea, especially in this one. I've liked her throughout, but she's just really amazing. She is such a good character. And Wilder Hawthorne, I mean, I've talked about him a bunch in different videos. This is the third book in the series, so I'm not going to get too deep into like the plot or anything like that. But this one in particular just had such amazing banter back and forth between the two of them. And some of the like side characters, it's just perfection. This is just such an interesting, fun world, and she does such a good job of having like the romantic elements and then like really great battle scenes and like intense moments. And then there's not like really a mundane moment, even when they're just kind of like traveling from here and there and doing like other stuff. Like I said, the banter and the dialogue is just so fun in these books. And I'm sad to read the next one because the way this one ended, of course, it's a fantasy romance. It ended on like a wild cliffhanger. So I'm looking forward to reading the next book. I'm a little worried, but excited. I'm excited. Okay, and then my 5-star read for this month is A Queen This Fierce and Deadly by Stasia Stark. And the Kingdom of Lies series is another one that I've been reading throughout the year. I believe I read the first book in January, and I've been really enjoying this series. It's like up there with ACOTAR or something like that for me. I really want more people to talk about this series. I loved it so much. It was just perfection. I was crying at the end of this book. This was the last book of the series. I won't give away any spoilers, but I would just say read this. Read this if you enjoy fantasy romances. It was just so amazing. So in the last book, we got some additional POVs, which I really, really love for this story. The same thing happens in this book, and you get to just see all these things playing out from different people's perspectives, and it just makes the story so much better. There's some other romances that came up that I really enjoyed. I like this world a lot. The world building was amazing. There's so many people and they're all doing different things. And everything just kind of happens for a reason. There's not just like random nonsense stuff that happened earlier on in the series that didn't like play out. Like everything happened for a reason, and she's such a great writer. I hope she does some more maybe in this world. There's a few characters that were left a little open-ended towards the end. So that would be really fun if that's something she does in the future. And it was just such a good end to this series. Everyone kind of comes together in the end. The stakes are like really high in this series, like throughout. Like a lot of times with fantasy romance, you know, there's supposed to be high stakes, but it doesn't really feel like it. But like a lot of people died throughout the series, like earlier on, and it really feels like an uphill battle, like for most of the characters in the series. And you know, they get hit a lot. It's like pretty intense at times, and the romance is just amazing between Priska and Lorien. The like romance, their relationship's just so great. It's come so far, and I love just like, it has great spice scenes in this book. I love all the side characters. Like everyone is my favorite. And then we have like an awesome final like epic battle scene in the end, and it was just perfect. This series might be one of my new favorites. And that's all the books I read in June. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.